we can use some data, this is all made up data, to calculate some of the unemployment statistics that we see in the news. So I've given us some data here, again, not real data. So we have total population of 153.2 million, children under 16 at 17.1 million, retirees at 12.2, employed at 78.2, unemployed at 4.5, want a job but are not looking at 1.1, and homemakers at 0.6. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So the first thing we want to figure out is who is in the population that is 16 years and older. Okay, because remember, the labor force or the working age population is only going to consist of people that are 16 and older. So if we take the data from our table, we want to take the total population, which was 153.2 million, and subtract out all of the children under 16, which was 17.1. So we have 136.1 is what we call the working age population, those that are 16 and older. Now, when you're doing your application assignments, it's going to ask for one decimal place. So make sure when you enter that information, you give the decimal in there. Okay, so the next thing we want to calculate is the labor force. And remember, the labor force is the employed plus the unemployed. So let's look at our table. And we see the fourth one down here, we have employed, okay, at 78.2, and we have unemployed at 4.5. Now, we have this group here that says they want a job but not looking for a job. Now, remember, those are not considered unemployed because they're not looking for a job, so they would not be included. So our labor force is just going to be the employed, the 78.2, plus the unemployed, which is 4.5. So the labor force is going to be 82.7. And again, you're going to have to put in one decimal place. So the next thing that we want to look at is the unemployment rate. So the unemployment rate is going to be the unemployed divided by the labor force, and then we're going to multiply that by 100 to make it a percentage. Okay, so we've already calculated the labor force in the last slide. So the labor force was the employed plus the unemployed, so 78.2 plus 4.5 is 82.7. So if we then take the unemployed, that 4.5, and divide by the labor force of 82.7, and then multiply that by 100, we're going to get 5.4%. So that's going to be our unemployment rate. So the unemployed divided by the labor force, multiply it by 100 to make it a percentage, that's 5.4%. So the last one that we want to calculate is what we call the labor force participation rate. And the labor force participation rate tells us what portion of our working age population, those 16 and older, that are either employed or unemployed. That's our labor force, the group of people that either has a job or wants a job and is looking for a job. Okay, so the labor force participation rate is going to be the labor force divided by the working age population. Now, we've already calculated the labor force, the employed plus the unemployed. That was 82.7. And remember, the working age population was the total population minus those children under 16. Okay, so the 153.2 minus 17.1 was 136.1. So if we take the 82.7, that labor force, divide that by the working age population, multiply that by 100 to make it a percentage, and this is going to give us 60.8%. So 60.8% of those over 16 that are not institutionalized are in the labor force. They're either considered employed or unemployed.